Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com. Today I want to talk about a subject that I think is pretty important. Of course, all the subjects I want to talk about I think are pretty important, but in particular, I want to talk about something that has really helped me a lot in my life, and to have the right mental attitude and the right mental frame. And I think that's just something that we should all practice every day, which is the idea of gratitude. And gratitude, not just gratitude, but gratitude in everything. And you'll find, I think, if you study a lot of successful entrepreneurs, a lot of successful people in life, that many of them employ this practice of doing, something every single day to remind them of what they have gratitude about. So if you've looked at books like the 5-minute journal, or there's a bunch of different processes. Tony Robbins talks about this a lot, but I think probably Miracle Mornings, that book. I haven't actually read the book myself, but I'll point to it here, because I've heard good things about it. But what is his name? Is it Hal Elron? I think, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, just off the top of my head, a lot of really successful people, a lot of really happy people practice gratitude every morning. They think of 3 things that they're grateful for. And this seems kind of silly, it seems kind of cliche and everything like that, but I think it's really important to think about this, to think about what do you have gratitude for? What are you thankful for, right? And again, a lot of people overuse this, right? You've been at the Thanksgiving table and said, everyone say what they're thankful for. And you can say this at a very surface level and not really understand this, or not really mean this, and it doesn't have any value. But if you really meditate on this, if you really think about what you're grateful for, and if you have gratitude in everything, even when the bad stuff happens, if you can find gratitude in that, it's extremely beneficial. It's an extremely beneficial way to live your life. It's an extremely beneficial way to start your day. And it's something that's really changed my life, because, as human beings, we can choose what we want to focus on. You can take the exact same situation, right? And you can have 2 different people, and one person can look for the bad in it, and they can see the bad in the situation, and another person can see the good in it. It can be the exact same situation. One person could have gratitude for some event that happened that might even seem negative to most people, and another person can become the victim, and they can choose to see how it's hurting them or how it's unfair, right? And what you really want to do, if you want to be successful, if you don't want to be dragged down, because your mental attitude, your mental mind state really determines a lot about your success, because it to some degree it influences your motivation, right? I've done videos on how to be motivated and how to increase your motivation. Not only I've talked about gratitude being an important element of that, but it really is an important element of it, because if you are thankful, if you come from an attitude of gratitude, again, it sounds a little cliche, but honestly, if you are thankful for everything that you have, then you just come at the world from a much better place. You're looking for opportunity. You're looking for more things to have gratitude for. You're looking to help people. You're coming from an abundance mindset. I talk about that a lot, but I think it's really important, right? And if you're looking at things from a negative viewpoint, if you're looking for the bad, you'll find it. Whatever you look for, you're going to find it. If you look for the good, if you look for the silver lining, again, to use another cliche, you're going to find that. In almost every situation, you can find that. But it's up to you, right? It's really so much up to you. And if you think about it, if you're alive, if you're watching this video, you have things to be grateful for, right? You can show your gratitude. You can have gratitude for the things in your life. I mean, for one thing, you can either hear or see this video, or maybe even both. If you could do both, which is a majority of us, you should be really grateful, because there's some people that can't see or hear, right? And they're not watching this video or listening to this podcast, okay? But there's a lot of really, there's a lot of things. If you lost a lot of things in your life, you would suddenly realize how valuable they were and how much gratitude that you could have. And so, practicing that, get into the habit of having gratitude, is going to make you a more positive, more happy person. You're going to look for opportunity. And not only that, when you feel like you have a lot of good things in your life and a lot of benefits and a lot of opportunity, you're gonna flow that over to other people, and you're gonna be able to give more to other people when you feel like you have plenty. When you feel like you're in a scarcity, like you don't have enough for you, you want to take. You don't want to give. You want to like hold on and get from other people what you feel like you need. But when you feel like you're overflowing, when you feel like you've got so many great things in your life and so many things to be grateful for, you actually give. And I'll tell you too, there's this term that I've used before. It's called hedonistic adaptation. And what that basically means is that, right now, maybe you're making 40K a year. And you say, oh, if I could make 80K a year, oh, I would be so happy, right? Or maybe you're making 80K a year and you're like, well, if I could make 6 figures, I'd be happy. Or maybe you're making 6 figures like, well, if I could just work for myself, I'd be happy. Well, as you progress through those stages, and believe me, because I've been through all of them, including reaching millionaire status, not having to work status, you eventually adapt to those. And what seemed so great before is not so great anymore. It just becomes normal. It is what you expect. And we're kind of designed to do that, to have hedonistic adaptation. So what's really critical is that all along that process, as you achieve goals and stuff, you can't be looking for that next level and saying that that's going to make you happy and make you satisfied and then you'll be grateful. You got to be grateful the whole way, because you got to realize and you got to be able to look back on your life and say, man, I'm so thankful. I mean, I could wake up in the morning, and I guarantee you, some of you wish you had my life. But I could wake up in the morning and I could think of all the crap that's wrong in my life and all the bad things and all the crap that I have to deal with and how horrible my life is. And some of you would flip your shit and would be like, what the heck are you talking about, John? But people would say the same to you, right? Instead, I choose to focus. I choose to wake up in the morning, and I don't always do this. I'm not perfect, right? But I choose to focus on, I try to remember how things used to be and how far I've come and how much I have to be thankful for and how much I'm grateful for, that my life has changed in phenomenal ways that I never imagined before, and how much opportunity that I have, that I've been partially blessed with, partially that I've earned, and partially been lucky, to receive, that I can focus on, because I rather focus my thoughts on those things, and that helps me. There's no point like living your life trying to keep on climbing the ladder and keep on trying to make it further and better, and you're never happy. And you're never going to be happy, because you think that green grass on the other side of the fence is so much better, but when you get there, like I said, that hedonistic adaptation, that's going to ensure that you never feel satisfied. You have to choose to feel satisfied. You have to choose to feel gratitude. It doesn't mean you're not hungry. It doesn't mean that you don't want more, but you're grateful for what you have, and it's a principle. Honestly, it's a principle in life. If you want to have more, you have to appreciate more, because if you're not a good steward for what you have, right? And you can read this in religious texts, but it transcends religion. It's a principle within the world. But if you're not grateful for what you have, if you're not a good steward of what you have, whether it be finances, relationships, your life itself, you're not going to get more. But if you are a good steward, if you can be thankful and you can have gratitude for what you already have, then you're going to get more, right? You're only going to rise to the level that you can appreciate what you have, and it's very true. And I'll say this, before I wrap this up, because I think this is, I talked about being grateful and having gratitude in everything, and I mean everything. When bad stuff happens, you have a choice, right? There's so many of you that watch these videos, and I know, and I see it because I see it in the comments or I see it on other videos. You got this victim mentality, right? I've talked about this before. I've done a video on not being a victim. Watch that if you need to, if that applies to you, or people like that. But you have to make a choice. When bad things happen to me, I try to think about what is the good in it, right? At the very least, when something bad happens, it's a learning opportunity for me. It's a growth experience to me. At the very least, it's testing my resolve and testing my character and making me stronger, right? There's always some good, some gratitude that you can find, even if it appears at the surface level to be a bad thing. Some of the worst things that happened in my life, right? I did this video on tearing my pec and events that change your life. Some of the worst things that happened in my life have ended up being some of the most important and some of the best things that happened in my life when I look at it, from the longer viewpoint. When I look at it immediately, it seems like this is a bad thing. So you don't know, right? I think in my soft skills book, I quoted this old passage that no one knows the source of, where this guy basically the story of this guy, and he's on a farm, and his son breaks his leg, and they find this horse, and everywhere along the story, the neighbors say, "Oh, that's good luck," or "That's bad," and the guy says, "Is it? I don't know. I'm not sure." Because you don't know, because the thing is, like, you don't know how things are going to work out. You can't see that far ahead. So without having that foresight, without knowing how things are going to turn out, it's best to just interpret every situation in a gracious way, to have gratitude. Even if your gratitude is as shallow as, "I'm glad it wasn't worse," that you can at least be grateful for all the time, right? You can always be grateful for the challenge that's going to grow you in some way. And if you take that attitude, then you can take these bad things, these misfortunes that happen to all of us in life, and you can use it for good. You can turn it around, and it can be something that you benefit from, because you're looking for the benefit. You're looking for the way that's going to improve your life, as opposed to how negative it is. If you look for the negative, you'll find it. You'll find plenty of reasons why this is screwed up, or life is unfair, and all of these things. But if you look for the positive, you'll find plenty of reasons there. And frankly, you'll be a much more pleasant person to be around. There's just a huge amount of benefits. So I would encourage you, especially if you've got that victim mindset, and if you do, if you think the world is against you and everything's happening against you and it's not happening for you, then take a moment and write down things you're grateful for. Make a habit, make a practice of every morning thinking about what you're grateful for. When something happens, try to develop this habit of, let me look for the good in this. Let me see if I can have gratitude. And you're going to benefit a lot from that. So if you found this video helpful, I've got a simple request for you. You can click the subscribe button down here. I would be most gracious, I would be most thankful if you would click the subscribe button, because I want to reach as many people as possible. And if you're already a subscriber, a way that you can say thank you if you like this video is a thumbs up, as always. And I will talk to you next time. Take care.